Welcome everyone to the Culture Club podcast live streaming. Thank you for joining us for this podcast. We're very excited to have you guys. This is our very first podcast, and we're super excited. There we go. So my name is Samaje. I'm the breastfeeding coordinator for the Las Vegas Urban League WIC office, also IBCOC. And this is
My name is Rowena. I am the program nutritionist for our WIC clinic.
So I guess a little bit about ourselves. Excuse me. Hope you guys can hear me okay. So I've been a part of WIC for about it'll be 14 years this March for me. I started off as a WIC mom myself and grew my family right here at WIC. So I'm very proud to still be a part of WIC. WIC has been very essential to my family. So hopefully you guys get great information as well from this podcast and include it into your family's daily nutritional habits and routines.
And my name is Rowena, and I've been here for 2.5 years. I was raised in Colorado. I'm Ethiopian. Just a few things about me. I went to UNLV and have a bachelor's of nutrition science. I am the oldest of four. I'm very passionate about children nutrition, adult nutrition, overall physical and mental health. So those are some things that are very important to us here. All right, and we want to talk a little bit about our vision to you. Our main vision is to promote diversity and harmony through a healthy, nutritious lifestyle. And our objective is to infuse nutrition and breastfeeding concepts by cross-pollinating cultural ideas. It's a very diverse group here.
Yes. Our goal, definitely empowerment through nutrition and breastfeeding education. If you are a WIC participant already, you kind of got an idea of how WIC rolls. So hopefully, if you're new to WIC or have no idea how WIC works, we're going to show you. We're going to hold your hand and walk you through everything we do here. So we cultivate behaviors which lead into healthier lifestyles. Today, you are in luck. We have a very well-respected medical professional, respected pediatrician, medical professional in our Las Vegas community in children's health and pediatrics, Dr. Shee. She is going to speak to us today about the COVID vaccine and speak to us about the science surrounding the vaccine for our WIC mothers and children. I'm sure you guys know about COVID. I'm sure lots of homes and families have been affected by COVID. So I am so proud and happy to have Dr. Shee speak to us on how it affects our families here at WIC. Dr. Shee is a medical director and owner of Root Pediatrics and Fit Med Wellness. Welcome, Dr. Shee, for coming on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it.
First, how are you doing today?
Yeah, this is such a good topic to talk about in the midst of a pandemic, and it seems like the waves of surges just keeps happening, and there's a new variant. So there's a lot of, rightly so, a lot of confusion out there about what's safe, what's best for moms and expecting moms and maybe breastfeeding moms, and how to navigate this really hard time. So I'm here to try to answer some of the questions and lay out, what we know from the science, the culture of things, so that these decisions can be a little bit clearer for you all.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. The first question we have is the COVID vaccine safe?
Is the COVID vaccine safe? Okay, so that is a really good question. I think let's start with why people think vaccines are not safe, because one of the reasons I think people are really worried about this vaccine is that it was done and made in a very short term amount of time instead of after like years of research that most vaccines are made. In general, I do think most vaccines are very safe because it goes through so much of a process of testing for safety. So most vaccines that we do give in pediatrics, and I'm a huge support of vaccines, are safe for our children and for moms. With COVID vaccine, now this is a little bit newcomer to the game because it's newly made, it's made in a pandemic. So there are a lot of things people are saying that it's not a vaccine that we extensively tested. However, so far from all the research that has been done across the globe, because it's not just in America. We have studies from Israel, from Germany, from South Africa, from South America, that have all been showing, these countries are showing similar results, that they are safe in sense of um, not causing any severe adverse effects, and is something that is going to help save lives. So vaccines, the COVID vaccine prevents severe illness from SARS and COVID infections.
Great, great. Our next question, I think you kind of touched on it as far as affecting fertility. Are vaccines safe as it relates to women's concerns regarding affecting their fertility?
Yeah, so I will tell you that there's been a lot of studies that came out within the last 6 months, because in the beginning, when they first started making the vaccine, they weren't tested in pregnant women, and likely so because there's more variables for pregnant women or for women who are trying to get pregnant. There's been no research to show, the studies haven't shown that it has affected anybody's ability to get pregnant. And when you're looking at what these studies, one of the studies that I looked at was looking at the antibody formation of your body. So your antibodies is your body's way of fighting off the virus. When you get a vaccine, you're not injecting the virus in you. You're just injecting a protein that your body sees as threat. So you're making antibodies, and these antibodies is your army to defend against illnesses. And the antibody level in women who are pregnant versus women who are not pregnant are both the same. So you have similar results in terms of your immunity boost with vaccination, whether you're pregnant or not.
Awesome, awesome. Which I think you just answered our next question. Are vaccines safe for women? Are vaccines safe to take while pregnant? I think you did answer that. Thank you. The next question, as you know, I'm the lactation counselor here. I get a lot of questions about, are vaccines safe while breastfeeding?
Mm-hmm. So vaccines are also safe during breastfeeding. Studies have measured, so if you're, let's say you just had a baby, you have decided to get the vaccine. So within 2 weeks, we think after you get the vaccine, you are producing antibodies in your body. The antibodies have been measured in mom's blood and also in breast milk. Although the quantity of the amount of antibodies that's coming out from the breast milk, it's more variable. They're depending on a lot of factors, like how much the mom is pumping, how much the mom is making milk, how much the baby's getting that breast milk from mom. So it is safe for moms who are deciding to breastfeed. In fact, I think that's pretty exciting too, because you are getting the antibodies for yourself to prevent from severe infection and severe illness from COVID, but you're also giving that antibody to your baby who is getting it from your breast milk.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad to hear that. Breastfeeding around the world, I'm voting for. So I'm so glad you were able to answer that. That's great news. Thank you, thank you.
Awesome. And one thing we've heard quite a bit from our families is, if it isn't a cure for COVID-19, then why should anyone take or be encouraged to take the vaccine?
Exactly. That's a really good question. Okay, so my philosophy and my practice is that I do think vaccination ultimately it's a very personal decision. So medically on the news and CDC and American Academy of Pediatrics, we look at these research and we say, yes, I think that is generally safe for most people to get the vaccine. But remember, I never push for you have to do this or else, because it's really comes down to your own body, your own comfort level, and your own family. So don't ever feel like you guys have to or do anything if you're not uncomfortable. I do think that if you have any reservation, please talk to your doctor, please talk to your medical community, talk to your pediatrician, have these conversations so that you can feel really confident about your decision, whichever you choose. COVID vaccine does boost your immunity. Why should you still get it if it doesn't prevent illness? Because just from my practice alone, I have seen so many parents, half of them vaccinated, half of them not vaccinated. And the people who are the sickest are the ones not vaccinated. So when you're not vaccinated, you don't have the immunity already set up there to fight off the illness as quickly as you could had you been vaccinated. Okay, so I can see definitely just from my own practice, I can see this from day to day. And also, a lot of research shows that most of the people in the hospital who end up on a ventilator, who are very sick, who end up in an ICU, about 70-80% of those people are not vaccinated. So you may have heard the saying that it's really became the Omicron hospitalization became an illness of the unvaccinated. And that's because people who are unvaccinated can suffer from more severe illness. And so the reason to get vaccinated would be to consider, do you have any health risk factors? If you're already at higher risk factors, for instance, that risk factors would be for moms age 35 or older. If you have any chronic other chronic illnesses, so like diabetes, obesity, or any other chronic conditions like autoimmune disorders, if you are a smoker, if you know anybody in the family, or you may be highly exposed to uh, people with COVID, so maybe from your healthcare workers, or if you're in the service industry, where around a lot of people, you're around a lot of people, you're high risk for exposure, then you might want to consider the vaccine, because chances of you catching is higher, and there's always a chance that you could be very sick. And we do know that, again, studies again have shown that with a vaccination, your body has a more stronger response against the totality of the infection than if you were to just catch it naturally. So your antibody response is stronger from a vaccine than from actually having COVID.
Awesome, awesome.
And finally, what age should a child get vaccinated?
At what age should a child get vaccinated? So a child can get vaccinated for COVID vaccine as young as 5 and older. However, there is a lot of discussion that they are probably going to make COVID vaccine available for children even younger, like down to 2 years of age by March this year. But at this age, if your child is 5 and older, if they're planning on going to school and be around other kids, they're eligible. Or even if they're not around other kids or going to school, 5 and older, they're eligible for vaccine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Shee. That's amazing information and right on time, honestly. A lot of families have been affected by COVID. If you yourself are looking for information more about COVID vaccine and how to move about with COVID if it is present in your home, or if anyone in your family is positive, with COVID, you can find more information at the CDC at www.cdc.gov. You can also find information at the Southern Nevada Health District at southernnevadahealthdistrict.org. Information about the immunizations at Immunize Nevada, immunizenevada.org. Dr. Shee's resources, you can find her at littlerootspeds.com. That's littlerootspeds.com. And also her FitMed information at thefitmed.com. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, we're glad that you were able to make time to join us and spend time with us here at Culture Club. We look forward to having you guys join us more in the future. You can find more information about our podcast and our upcoming live sessions at wiclvul.org.
Thank you guys for taking the time to go over these really important sections. Please feel free to reach out. And like I said, and as you mentioned, if you guys have any questions, happy to be here as a source of information, hopefully some clarity, and just to bounce ideas off of.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shee.
Thank you.
Thank you.